Welcome back to Next Gen Diecast. Today we start round 2 of the Legends Piston Cup. Let's go ahead and introduce the 4 drivers of Group 1. First up, it's number 3, Caleb Worley. Next up, it's number 11, Junior Moon. Next up, number 51, Doc Hudson. And last up, number 91, Randy Lawson. We are ready to kick off round 2 here in the Legends Piston Cup. Only 2 drivers will advance on to the final round. For race number 1, Doc Hudson and Caleb Worley start in row 1. And then starting in row 2, it's Randy Lawson and Junior Moon. The gate drops and round 2 is underway. Great start for the inside lane. Hudson leads out of 2. Lawson trying to run him down. He spins in 4. Hudson will go on to win the race, and Caleb Worley making the pass in reverse over Randy Lawson to take second. Lawson finishes third, and then Moon back in 4th. What a good start for Doc Hudson. Once again, a super fast, smooth lap for Doc Hudson, starting right where he left off in round 1. Picks up his 3rd win so far in the Legends Piston Cup, and a great pass from Caleb Worley coming out of turn 4 in reverse to take the extra point over Randy Lawson. So the first race is in the books. Doc Hudson leads the way. He's got 5 points. Caleb Worley has 3. Randy Lawson is in 3rd with 2 points, and then Junior Moon has 1. We are moving on to race number 2. In row 1, it's Caleb Worley and Junior Moon. And then back in row 2, Doc Hudson and Randy Lawson. The gate drops and they're off. A good start for Worley. He's going to lead out of turn 2. Doc Hudson to second. Worley and Hudson nose to tail through 3 and 4. It's going to be Caleb Worley winning race 2 over Doc Hudson. And then Randy Lawson's going to come through in reverse to take 3rd. Junior Moon with a DNF here in race 2. He's on his side over in the infield grass of turn 3. What a battle between Worley and Hudson. Nose to tail going down into turn 3. And then Caleb Worley, an awesome exit coming out of turn 4, able to pull away from Doc Hudson and take the win. And we'll see what happened to Junior Moon. Just not enough speed going into turn 3. The banking got the best of him, and he rolls right over into the grass. So that's going to mark the halfway point for Group 1 here in round 2. Doc Hudson and Caleb Worley now tied with 8 points each. Randy Lawson back in 3rd. He's got 4 points, and then Junior Moon in 4th with just 1 point. Not the start Junior Moon was looking for here in round 2. The drivers are back at the gate, ready to go for race 3. In row 1, it's going to be Junior Moon and Randy Lawson. And then in row 2, Caleb Worley and Doc Hudson. And the green flag is back out here at Thunder Mountain Speedway. Lawson leads into 1. Doc Hudson around the outside. He makes the pass for the lead. Doc Hudson's going to go on to win race 3. Lawson 2nd, Moon 3rd, Worley in 4th. Wow, what a move by Doc Hudson. Started 4th, and then he goes on to pass everybody coming out of turn 2 and down the mid-straight. Big time move from Doc Hudson. He goes on to win his 2nd race of the day, his 4th win in the Legends Piston Cup. And he's going to take a nice lead going into the final race. Doc Hudson has locked a spot in the final round of the Legends Piston Cup. He's got 13 points. Caleb Worley in 2nd with 9 points. Randy Lawson in 3rd with 7 points. And then Junior Moon back in 4th with 3. So it's between Caleb Worley and Randy Lawson to decide which of those 2 drivers will join Doc Hudson in the final round. We've got one more race to go. Starting in row 1, it's Randy Lawson and Doc Hudson. And then starting in row 2, Junior Moon and Caleb Worley. Here we go for the final race. Lawson and Hudson side by side into 1. Lawson's going to take the lead. He leads into turn 3. Can Hudson run him down? He can't. Lawson will win the race. Hudson 2nd, Moon 3rd. And this time Worley will score a DNF. In the final race, he has come to a stop at the entrance of turn 3. What a battle between Lawson and Hudson going into turn 1. Lawson ran Hudson up the track and was able to take the position, and then he did not look back. And then coming down to the line, Hudson bounces off the wall and then ends up blocking Junior Moon to hold on to 2nd. And that's going to do it for Group 1 here in round 2 of the Legends Piston Cup. Doc Hudson, for the 2nd straight round, has put up 16 points on the board. He's got 4 total wins, and he is yet to finish outside of the top 2. Doc Hudson wins here in Group 1. He finishes with 16 points. Randy Lawson finishes second with 12 points. We've got Caleb Worley back in third with 9 points, and then Junior Moon in fourth with 5 points. Doc Hudson and Randy Lawson will be advancing on to the final round, and unfortunately for Caleb Worley and Junior Moon, that will conclude their run in the Legends Piston Cup. Thank you to everyone for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you back next time. Take care. Welcome back to Next Gen Diecast for the final group of round 2 here in the Legends Piston Cup. Let's go ahead and introduce the 4 drivers of Group 2. First up, it's number 9, Slim Hood. Next up, number 70, Duke Coulters. Next up, number 94, Luis Nash. And last up, number 300, Leroy Hemming. These 4 drivers will be competing for the last 2 spots in the final round. For race number 1, Slim Hood and Leroy Hemming will start in row 1. And then in row 2, it's Luis Nash and Duke Coulters. Group 2 is ready to go. We're ready for some racing. The gate drops, and they're off. Good battle going into turn 1 for the lead. Hood leads out of 2, but he's sideways. Hemming forces his way through. He takes the lead, and he'll go on to win race 1 over Luis Nash. Coulters back in third, and then Hood finishes in fourth. Slim Hood was completely sideways coming out of turn 2. Hemming gets into him, opens up the door, takes the lead, and then Nash made a bid for the lead going through turn 4, but she just didn't have the run to make the pass on Hemming, who went on to win. Slim Hood started out front, had the lead coming out of turn 2, ended up finishing in fourth, not the result he was looking for. So the first race is in the books. Leroy Hemming leads with 5 points, Luis Nash in second with 3, Duke Coulters has 2, and then Slim Hood with 1. We are moving on to race number 2. Leroy Hemming and Duke Coulters will start in row 1. And then in row 2, it's Slim Hood and Luis Nash. The gate drops for race 2. Great start for Hemming. He leads out of turn 2. He's up on the wall, a little sideways. He gets it straightened back out, and he's going to win back-to-back races. Hood just beats out Nash for second, and Coulters has spun and come to a stop short of the finish line. He'll pick up a DNF here in race 2. Great run for Hemming coming through 1 and 2, gets airborne. Coming down the mid-straight there, up on the wall, but then he's able to kind of settle it back down. Had a good smooth run out of turn 4 as he wins back-to-back races. And then a close race down to the line between Hood and Nash as Slim Hood is able to take second. So 2 races in, Leroy Hemming has a 5-point lead over Luis Nash. Leroy Hemming has 10 points. Luis Nash in second with 5. Slim Hood back in third with 4 points. And then Duke Coulters, after that DNF, just 2 points, 2 races in. The drivers are ready to go for race 3. Duke Coulters and Luis Nash will start in row 1. And then back in row 2, it's Leroy Hemming and Slim Hood. Here we go for race 3. Good battle for the lead going into turn 1. It's going to be Coulters with the lead, but he's sideways. Nash goes through and takes the lead. Here she comes to the line. She'll just beat out Leroy Hemming for the win. Slim Hood third, and for the second straight race, Duke Coulters with a DNF. He stopped short of the finish line. So very similar to race 1. This time it was Coulters sideways coming out of turn 2. Nash was able to push her way through and take the lead. And then Leroy Hemming with a big run coming down to the finish line. Nash able to close the door and take a big win. Let's watch it one more time. Watch the top left of your screen. Coulters sideways gets into the wall coming out of turn 4, and then Hood gets into him. Big impact. They both get airborne for just a second, and unfortunately for Duke Coulters, that is back-to-back DNFs, and that will take him out of contention for a spot in the final round. Leroy Hemming is still your points leader after 3 races. He's got 13 points. Luis Nash in second with 10 points. Slim Hood in third with 6, and then Duke Coulters in fourth with 2. So it's going to come down to Luis Nash and Slim Hood to battle it out for that final spot in the final round of the Legends Piston Cup. We've got just one more race. For the final race, Luis Nash and Slim Hood will start in row 1. And then in row 2, Duke Coulters and Leroy Hemming. The gate drops for the final race. It's a great start for Hood on the outside. He's going to lead. Here they come into 3. Hood leads. Nash and Hemming battle for second. Hood's going to win the final race. Hemming second, Nash third, and Coulters will take fourth. Hood did everything he could. He won the race, but Nash finishes in third, and that'll be good enough to put her in the final transfer spot. What a battle between Nash and Hemming through 3 and 4. Hemming able to take away second from Nash. Hood with a big win in the final race, but Nash picks up a big 2 points there in the final race, and that will give her that 1 point advantage she needed over Slim Hood to lock a spot in the top 2. So Leroy Hemming is your winner here in Group 2. He wins. He finishes with 16 points and 2 wins, tying Doc Hudson as he puts the same numbers up on the board here in round 2. Luis Nash finishes second with 12 points, just 1 point ahead of Slim Hood. And then Duke Coulters, with one of the lowest point totals we have seen, finishes back in fourth with just 3 points. Leroy Hemming and Luis Nash will be advancing on to the final round. And for Slim Hood and Duke Coulters, that will do it for their run in the Legends Piston Cup. Here are the final 4 drivers that will be competing for the Legends Piston Cup Championship. You can see Doc Hudson has put the most points on the board. Leroy Hemming not far behind, and then they'll be joined by Randy Lawson and Luis Nash. It should be an exciting final round. And here are the team standings at the end of round 2. Flash Racing has moved into the lead. They've got 42 points, a 2-point lead over NSG Racing with 40. And then back in third, Ghetto Diecast Customs as they drop a couple spots in the standings. They've got 39 points. Turn 4 Racing with 35. And then EP Video still rounding out our top 5 with 33. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you back next time. Take care. Welcome back to Next Gen Diecast for the final round of the Legends Piston Cup. For the first time on the channel, we will have an 8-race final to determine the champion. Let's go ahead and introduce the 4 drivers. First up, it's the 3-time Piston Cup champion, number 51, Doc Hudson. Hudson comes into today's race with 4 wins, a fast time of 8.085, which is not only the fastest time of the Legends Piston Cup, but the fastest time here at Thunder Mountain Speedway. Next up, it's number 91, Randy Lawson. Randy Lawson is the only driver among the 4 finalists that does not have a Piston Cup title. He comes in with 2 wins, an 8.567 as his fastest time. We'll see how he does against a stacked field here today. Next up, it's number 94, Luis Nash. Luis Nash has won 1 Piston Cup title. She's got 2 wins, a fast time of 8.808, and she has come through absolutely clutch in some big moments in the Legends Piston Cup to get to the final. Last up, it's number 300, Leroy Hemming. Hemming is Doc Hudson's old rival. He's got 3 wins. An 8.891 is his fastest time. We'll see if he can slow the fabulous Hudson Hornet down today and go after a 2nd Piston Cup title. We are ready to kick off the final. The driver with the most points at the end of the 8 races will be the Legends Piston Cup champion. For race number 1, Doc Hudson and Leroy Hemming will start in row 1, and then in row 2, it's Randy Lawson and Luis Nash. Here we go, the gate drops and the Legends Piston Cup final is underway. Hudson leads out of 2. He's sideways, Lawson spins behind him. Coming out of 4, Hudson leads and he'll take the first race. Lawson second, Nash third. Hemming back in 4th, and what a way to start the Legends Piston Cup final for the fabulous Hudson Hornet. He had a smooth run coming through 1 and 2, got a little sideways down the mid-straight, but he was able to hold off the charge from Randy Lawson in reverse. A lot of speed for Lawson, but Hudson was able to hold on, take the win in race number 1. He's got 5 points. Randy Lawson in second. He picked up 3 points. Luis Nash has 2 points. And then Leroy Hemming back in fourth with 1 point. We are set and ready to go for race 2. Leroy Hemming and Luis Nash will be starting in row 1. And then in row 2, it's Doc Hudson and Randy Lawson. The gate drops and we're back at it. Good race going into turn 1. It's Hemming that's going to take the lead. Luis Nash not far behind. Coming out of 4, Hemming into the wall sideways. Luis Nash makes the pass for the win. Hemming second, Lawson third. And for the first time in the Legends Piston Cup, Doc Hudson finishes outside of the top 2. Hemming got off to such a good start in that race, but coming out of turn 4, he gets into the wall. That puts him sideways, and it opens the door for Luis Nash. She's able to push her way through after a great run out of turn 4. And Luis Nash picks up a big win here in race 2 and jumps to the points lead. Luis Nash has 7 points. Doc Hudson back to second with 6 points. Randy Lawson in third, he's got 5 points. And then Leroy Hemming back in fourth with 4 points. The drivers are back at the gate ready to go for race 3. Luis Nash and Randy Lawson will start in row 1. And then in row 2, it's Leroy Hemming and Doc Hudson. The green flag is back out. Nash off to a great start on the inside. She leads coming out of 2. Lawson spins behind her. Coming out of 4, Nash leads. She's up on the wall. She'll win the race ahead of Lawson. Hemming third. And in back-to-back races, Doc Hudson finishes 4th, which is quite uncharacteristic. Randy Lawson spun coming out of turn 2, and then watch him going into 3. Hemming with a nice move as he dives to the inside and takes away 3rd from Doc Hudson. And then Lawson with a good run in reverse, but didn't have enough time to close the gap on Luis Nash. So Nash picks up back-to-back wins, and 3 races in, she has extended her points lead. Luis Nash has 12 points. She has a 4-point lead over second place Randy Lawson with 8 points. Doc Hudson falls back to 3rd. He's got 7 points. And then Leroy Hemming remains in 4th place with 6 points. We are moving on to race 4. Randy Lawson and Doc Hudson will start in row 1. In row 2, it's Luis Nash and Leroy Hemming. Here we go for race 4. Good battle going into turn 1. Lawson's going to lead out of 2. Luis Nash flips. She's upside down. Lawson with a big lead coming out of 4. He'll win race 4. Hudson second, Hemming third. And Luis Nash with a DNF. She's upside down at the entrance of turn 3. We'll have to see what happened to Nash coming out of turn 2. Looks like maybe some contact between her and Hudson. She got pinned up against the wall and it flipped her right over. Randy Lawson would go on to win his first race of the final. But unfortunately for Luis Nash, with that DNF, it will cost her the points lead. So we are now halfway through the Legends Piston Cup final. Randy Lawson into the points lead. He's got 13 points. Luis Nash to second with 12 points. Doc Hudson is back in third. He's got 10 points. And then Leroy Hemming in fourth with 8 points. We have just 4 more races to decide who will be the Legends Piston Cup champion. Here we go for the start of the second half. Race 5. Randy Lawson and Luis Nash will start in row 1. And then in row 2, it's Doc Hudson and Leroy Hemming. The gate drops and race 5 is underway. Good battle for the lead between Lawson and Nash. Lawson pulls just ahead. They make contact going into 3. Coming down to the line, Nash puts a bumper on him, but it's Lawson taking the win. Nash second, Hudson third, and Hemming back in fourth. What a battle between Randy Lawson and Luis Nash. And then you had Hudson and Hemming battling it out for third. And watch him coming down to the line. Nash a good run, puts the bumper on Lawson, but can't make the pass. And then Hudson just hangs on to third over Hemming. So 5 races in, and Randy Lawson has extended that points lead. He's got a 3-point lead over Luis Nash. So Randy Lawson with 18 points. Luis Nash has 15 points. Doc Hudson back in third. He's got 12 points. And then it's Leroy Hemming back in fourth with 9 points. We are ready to go for race 6. Luis Nash and Leroy Hemming will be starting out front in row 1. And then back in row 2, it's Randy Lawson and Doc Hudson. The gate drops, and it's another good race going down into turn 1. Nash is going to lead out of 2, but she flips over. Hudson to the lead. Doc Hudson will win. Race to the line for second, and it's Randy Lawson taking second over Leroy Hemming by less than a tenth of a second. Nash with her second DNF of the final. Louise Nash had such a good run through 1 and 2 as she took the lead, but then she flips over coming down the mid-straight. Doc Hudson able to take the lead. He would go on to win by a big margin. And then Hemming and Lawson would race to the line for second. Randy Lawson taking second over Leroy Hemming. That DNF for Louise Nash certainly shakes things up in the standings. 6 races in, Randy Lawson still leads. He's got 21 points. Doc Hudson back to second with 17 points. Louise Nash in third with 15 points. And surprisingly, Leroy Hemming still in fourth with only 11 points. He's the only driver yet to pick up a win here in the final. We've got just 2 more races to go. For race 7, Leroy Hemming and Doc Hudson will start in row 1. And then in row 2, it's Louise Nash and Randy Lawson. We are back to racing at Thunder Mountain Speedway. Good battle for the lead between Hemming and Hudson. Hemming leads down the mid-straight. Here comes Hudson. He makes the pass through 3 and 4. Doc Hudson will win back-to-back races. Hemming finishes second, Lawson third, and Nash with another DNF. This time she's come to a stop over by the Disney docket sign coming down the mid-straight. She was up on her side once again coming out of turn 2. Watch the battle going into turn 3. Doc Hudson throws it in on the inside in turn 3, makes a beautiful pass and goes on to win his 3rd race of the final. Randy Lawson will retain the points lead here 7 races in. He's got 23 points, but just a 1-point lead over Doc Hudson with 22 points. Louise Nash back in 3rd. She's got 15 points. And then it's Leroy Hemming back in 4th with 14 points. This is interesting. 1 more race to go. It all comes down to Randy Lawson and Doc Hudson. Just 1 point is separating these 2 drivers, and they're both starting on the front row of the final race. Doc Hudson on the inside and Randy Lawson on the outside. Here we go. The gate drops and the final race is underway. Good battle going into 1. Hudson's going to lead coming out of 2. Here they come into 3. Lawson making a run. Hudson into the wall and sideways, but he wins his 3rd straight race. And Doc Hudson just won his 4th Piston Cup title. What a tremendous battle between Doc Hudson and Randy Lawson. Hudson would lead going down into 3, and Lawson had a great run through 3 and 4, puts a nose on him, but just didn't have enough to get there and make a move. Doc Hudson, the fabulous Hudson Hornet, is back. Doc Hudson is the Legends Piston Cup champion as he finishes today with 4 wins and 27 points. Randy Lawson finishes in second, just 1 point behind Doc Hudson. He finishes with 2 wins and 26 points. And then we had Louise Nash back in 3rd with 2 wins and 17 points. If it wasn't for some bad luck, Louise Nash would have been right there with Hudson and Lawson all the way to the end. Leroy Hemming finishes in 4th with 15 points, which is probably quite a surprise to many. We thought Leroy Hemming and Doc Hudson would have a great battle today, but ultimately it was Doc Hudson versus Randy Lawson. We'll check out the final in the team standings. NSG Racing, the team champion here in the Legends Piston Cup. They finished with 67 points. The defending champ, EP Videos, finishes in 2nd with 59 points. Flash Racing rounding out the podium with 57. Then we had HCS Trucking and Race Cars in 4th with 48. And Ghetto Diecast Customs rounds out the top 5 with 39. A big congratulations to Doc Hudson, the fabulous Hudson Hornet, on winning the Legends Piston Cup, his 4th Piston Cup title. We also want to say thank you to everyone for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next time. Take care.